Happy Friday, everyone. It is May the 6th, 2016. I'm Jen Carfagno.
And I'm Orville Redenbacher. How are you doing, guys? Bow tie. The reason why is we have the festive dress is because, of course, we've got the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, good excuse to dress up this weekend.
Exactly, and we're watching some storm systems that are going to be racing their way across the continent, possibly some severe weather as we get into the weekend.
Yeah, so a lot going on, actually even into Saturday. So let's track this, what we've been calling a pesky upper level low. This is more of a January-like pattern, and if it was January, this could be very interesting, actually. Thank goodness it's not, but with this kind of upper level low sticking around for days and days and days, in the colder months, that could have added up to some snow. For now, it's been adding up to some rain and the clouds and everything else. Here's the upper level low finally actually on the move. So we are getting rain still, again, in Virginia and in North Carolina. But if you remember, that upper level low dove down through the Great Lakes into the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley, and now it's scooting out here. So it's making progress, at least, but still bringing us rain and clouds. New York City, another wet morning for you. Pretty much all roads on Long Island are wet this morning. All routes into New York City are wet as you take a look at that rain in the tri-state area. So big dip in our jet stream, below average temperatures. This has been our story for the week. This is going to remain the case again today into much of the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. Watch this upper level low, again, making slow progress. It's very pesky, as we've been talking about, but it's sort of lumbering and moving a little bit. And so at least that's the good news. By the time we get into tomorrow, we're starting to see a little more progress heading east off the coast, but still here enough that we'll still see showers and clouds sticking around again for your Saturday into the Northeast. And that includes the I-95 corridor, heads up for travelers. That includes D.C., heads up if you're heading into town. New York City, plans coming in for the weekend. We do have the wet weather in store for you getting into today, and then isolated showers continuing tomorrow across the area. Hopefully we'll see some improvement by Sunday afternoon is what I'm targeting to get things all kicked out here. In the meantime, it has been a phenomenal week across the plains. Mariners and Astros series tonight and really into the weekend. We've got great weather here across the southern plains until we get to the end of the weekend. So we'll show you how it all pans out, starting today with temperatures in the 60s. Houston and Dallas, Oklahoma City were in the 50s. Another nice crisp morning as you walk outside. We are going to be looking at the dry conditions continuing again today. The sunshine, those northerly winds, you know, they've not been terribly strong, and that's really what's allowed us to continue to keep the dry air in place. Now, getting through today and the weekend, the changes will start happening. We'll start to see the winds turn around from the south. You really see that tomorrow, actually. Look at that. See these southerly winds? That starts to bring back up some moisture and some Gulf of Mexico humidity. So now you'll start to feel more, you know, typical Houston-like weather with the humidity going up. By Sunday, we'll see temperatures in the 70s, and again, the humidity coming back and storms back into the picture by the end of the weekend. For other new weather developments, let's check in with Reynolds.
Yeah, and we do have quite a few developments to back.
We are obviously into it, aren't we? Here,
No,
I got something for you. Catch this.
Oh!
The roses.
Good times.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, wow. Smell nice and plasticky. Good deal.
Obviously, we have bit into it here at the Weather Channel. We've all got our Derby best on today, and we're going to talk a little more about some of the weather history, too, with the Kentucky Derby. Looking ahead to some other events this weekend, we are going to look for the rain in the east. Baseball games tonight. We've got a lot of rain to worry about here. There could be some rainouts. We're also watching for Saturday's active weather, with storms firing back here into West Texas. Dallas, we're still good. Houston, we're still good. We have a great Saturday ahead. Sunday, though, we got to watch storms approaching Dallas by day's end. Kansas City as well. Chicago, clouds on the increase, but dry for your Mother's Day, and still temperatures fairly mild.
Chichen Itza, and then went to the Taco Bell in Cozumel, which was incredible. Great times there.
Again, 50%. You should believe 50%. All of the weather, but everything else 50%.
Absolutely, most definitely. Hey, unfortunately, we've got a very good chance of having some severe storm as we get into the weekend.
Clouds just like that. We may see
Very
those
true.
shelf clouds and rotating supercells. We are going to watch for storms fire back across the plains in the heartland getting into the weekend. Here's how it all begins. We've got this system off the west coast here. This upper level low has been spinning for a couple of days now. Kind of like an upper level low in the east has been spinning for a couple of days now. We're in this block pattern, the reason why. And so we are watching and continuing to watch little pieces of energy rotate on through. There's a couple of them. And one by one, they're kind of going to eject out over the weekend. And so luckily this whole thing isn't coming out at once, but because we're going to get these pieces of energy coming out into the plains over the weekend, we will see thunderstorms start to fire, and that actually will start on Saturday. So here's how things evolve. You can see how these pieces of energy evolve out here, injecting out into the plains. We are going to see divergence aloft, the spreading of the jet streams. Look at this. You really can see it as we look at one branch of the jet going like that, the other one up like that, and that motion of the air at the upper levels actually helps encourage rising air. So we're going to see that risk for thunderstorms. We have all of the atmospheric players in place. We'll have a surface low developing, a cold front, a warm front, most importantly a dry line, which will get things going on Saturday, and then into Sunday that becomes a focus as well. Over the weekend, what has to happen is those surface winds have to turn around from the south. You know, we spent all week with winds from the north, which really has been quite comfortable in Texas, right? It's been beautiful all week, but when winds start to change from the south, that brings back up the moisture. And so to start, that's going to be the limiting factor. There won't be a ton of moisture there. You probably will get some of those very photogenic storms that just fire up one by one here, maybe along that dry line, and it certainly will be, you know, great for photography. We're going to watch the risk of thunderstorms though with hail and with damaging winds and with a tornado threat as well. And as we go through the weekend and more moisture comes back into the weather system, then we'll start to see, I think, the risk for severe weather continuing to be more widespread. Western and central Kansas, western Oklahoma on Sunday, on Mother's Day, 4 out of 10 chance of tornadoes firing here. On Sunday as well, get into eastern parts of Kansas, western Missouri. You got a 3 down into central Texas as well. So there is a risk when if you have plans, picnic plans for mom on Sunday, make sure you have a way to get your warnings when you're outside. In case you don't hear a siren, make sure you've got a weather radio just so that you know what's coming. Monday's forecast, we're going to be watching for the system to continue to evolve and push east. You can see this one also fairly slow moving. We bring the rain back into East Texas, Arkansas, and into Missouri. Meanwhile, speaking of slow moving, that's what I'm talking about, this system in the east, Reynolds.
Very, very true.
It's lazy.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we're trying to